You are listening to Confessions of a Counselor podcast with Janice, mental health in bite-sized chunks. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Confessions of a Counselor. I'm your host, Janice, and in today's episode, I thought we would talk about the function of anxiety. So anxiety is probably the biggest concern that comes into my office. Typically, a client will come in and they're experiencing a significant amount of anxiety. They're overwhelmed, they're stressed, they're exhausted, they're not sure what's going on, and they want to make a change in their life. I think anxiety is hard and difficult, so I wanted to talk about what is the function of anxiety and why does it show up in our lives. Okay, let's jump right in. So anxiety, I think, oftentimes gets a bad rap in terms of feelings, right? So anxiety is a feeling. Everyone experiences anxiety in some way, shape, or form in their life. And then we have those people who have an anxiety disorder, right? So this is where their anxiety is impacting their ability to function in their day to day. So it's impacting their normal, it's impacting how they're able to function in their day to day. The anxiety is preventing them from doing what they need to do. But anxiety itself, the physiological response, the feeling, is something that everyone experiences and is a biological function, right? So it's not supposed to happen. But I think anxiety, I think especially nowadays with mental health being so prominent, I think that anxiety gets a bad rap. It gets this kind of idea placed on it that we're not supposed to feel anxiety ever. And anxiety is always a bad thing, right? And that if you experience anxiety, you then have an anxiety disorder, which I think is not the case, right? That's not true. So I wanted to talk today about what is the function of anxiety? Why do we experience anxiety? Why does someone feel anxiety? And kind of what's happening in our body when we are feeling anxiety. Obviously, each person is going to have an individual experience of this. I'm just kind of talking in general. What is anxiety? What are the typical symptoms that I'll see with clients? So the function of anxiety, if you look at it from a biological perspective, is anxiety is telling us, stop, danger, there's something happening, right? So anxiety wants to bring awareness to whatever's happening in the world around us. Anxiety wants to tell us something bad might happen. Have you thought of this? Or I see something bad happening. Make sure that you're doing something to keep yourself safe, right? So anxiety's function is to keep us safe. Anxiety's function is to say, have you thought of all of the scenarios in order to keep yourself safe? This is a great function. This is a really important thing. We need that function so that we don't walk off of a cliff. We need that function so that as kids, we're not just climbing to the top of the monkey bars without a plan, right? So anxiety helps to keep us safe. Again, when we look at anxiety as a disorder, when we look at anxiety as a diagnosis, that means that I'm stopping myself from doing anything. I'm fearful of so many things, and I'm not able to go about my day-to-day life and do the things that I need to do, right? So that, yes, we need to work on that. But anxiety as a feeling functioning in its normal capacity is actually really helpful. It's really functional that we have this protection mechanism within us that helps us to stay safe. So when anxiety is coming up and I can think, what is the function of this? What is anxiety trying to keep me safe from? And that's where we want to approach it from, right? So when I can understand, hey, anxiety is worried about this, then I can change my behavior based on that. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Confessions of a Counselor podcast is available anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts, both on Apple and Android. New episodes are released every Friday. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to join the conversation, leave a review, or subscribe to the podcast hosted on Spotify. You can find all these details on janicelyons.com. Until next time, take care.